Emergency response and evacuations. Evacuation plans have been developed for the main office and the workshops. It is far too late to read them after an emergency arises. Ensure you familiarise yourself with them. These plans can be found in your employee handbook, in the main office, or on the HSEQ notice board. Ensure that you are aware of an evacuation plan wherever you are working, and if one is not available, it must be addressed as part of the JSA process. This means when completing the JSA, ensure a section is added to the back of the document and addresses the site or project's muster point, first aiders, first aid kits and spill kits. Decide on which alarms are going to be used, for example, an air horn or a siren. On hearing the evacuation alarm at the office or workshop, immediately proceed to the emergency assembly area, which is located at Gate 1. Unless you are in imminent danger, walk briskly, do not run, and be aware of others around you. If they appear to have not heard the alarm, ensure you make them aware. Once at the muster point at Gate 1, the attendance will be taken, first aid administered and emergency services notified if required. Incidents and accidents. When incidents, accidents or near misses occur, our policy is to never blame someone unless there is a clear or obvious breach. We conduct investigations to ensure we understand how it occurred, how we can improve, and how we can prevent it from reoccurring in the future. If you are involved in an incident, no matter how small, report it immediately. The investigation of any incident, accident or near miss is a vital part of the prevention. There has been reported cases where an incident that appeared insignificant at the time eventually led to a lost time injury or an environmental disaster. Please follow the specific site reporting process for each client or site, and always ensure your supervisor is advised immediately. You will be provided with a written copy of the procedure in your safety induction meeting with the HSEQ manager. Please use the signer to report all hazards, incidents or near misses, and then contact Caroline, our HSEQ manager, for any help. Job safety analysis. Job safety analysis are part of the cornerstone of our safety systems. A JSA breaks down each job from beginning to end, identifying the hazards, risk ratings, and the control measures that need to be used to minimise the risk. Before starting any job, the entire work team must have reviewed the applicable JSA, identified and agreed controls for site-specific hazards, and signed off to confirm their understanding and commitment to the agreed control measures. Safe Work Method Statements. Safe Work Method Statements, known as SWMS, are one of the main safety systems used by Geographe Civil. A SWMS breaks down each aspect of a job into a step-by-step controls to ensure optimal safety on any and all jobs we work on. Before starting any job, the entire work team must have reviewed the applicable SWMS, identified and agreed on the controls for site-specific hazards, and then signed off to confirm their understanding and commitment to the agreed control measures. The SWMS document also covers the appropriate PPE required, any permits required, and the emergency contact information specific to the location of the job site. Any hazards that are site-specific and are not found already can be added at the back of the document to ensure all possible hazards are covered. Qualifications, competencies and licenses. Operators are required to have successfully completed the appropriate competencies to operate. In addition to this, they may also need to complete site inductions or client inductions. On commencement of employment, you are required to provide details and evidence of any qualifications, competencies or licenses for mobile plant and equipment, vehicles, trucks and heavy vehicle combinations that you may have. These all need to be current and valid. Hard copies are taken to allow for data entry purposes so that renewals can be followed up. You may only complete tasks where you are deemed competent, and if in doubt, consult with your supervisor or HSEQ supervisor. OHS Committee. The OHS Safety Committee meets every 6 months and is committed to your safety and the environmental responsibilities. It is made up of the General Manager, the HSEQ Manager, and the Occupational Health and Safety Representatives. The purpose of this meeting is to promote communication, consultation, and monitor our systems to identify opportunities for improvement. The summary key points that are identified are then discussed and communicated at the next scheduled Toolbox meeting. This committee is absolutely committed to your safety and the environmental responsibility. We encourage any feedback you may have via Toolbox meetings, safety representatives, or in writing. A safety dispute hierarchy is used to resolve any disputes raised. Here is our safety rep, Taj Fowler. You can find him in the workshop or call him. Toolbox meetings. Toolbox meetings are held every 3 weeks and provide an opportunity for employees to address any hazards, concerns, or any ideas for improvements with the rest of the employees and management systems. By actively participating, you are assisting the company and your team to identify and address challenges before they become issues. You will find a copy of the most recent Toolbox meeting minutes pinned to the HSEQ notice board in the kitchen. Many suggestions have resulted in a safer and more worker-friendly environment. Smoking. Smoking is only allowed in the designated areas. If employees are not using the designated areas, they will be disciplined in accordance to the company's policies. The following areas are prohibited for smoking under any circumstances: offices, workshops or storage areas, company vehicles or machinery, in the presence of chemicals. If unsure of the designated areas, please check with your supervisor. Fire prevention. As a lot of fuels, gases, paints and chemicals used by our company are highly flammable, it is essential that you are aware of their fire risk and strictly observe no smoking areas. The most common causes of fire in the industry are sparks from hot works, faults in electrical equipment, contaminated rags igniting, chemical reactions of products and incorrect storage, poor housekeeping. Be alert to the dangers and assess the risk as part of the JSA process and ensure all steps of the task are covered and the associated hazards are identified. Fire suppression. The 3 elements necessary to start a fire are oxygen, heat and fuel. Whilst common thinking is that water puts out fires, this is not always the case, and for chemical and electrical fires, water will actually make things worse. If you notice a fire has started, first raise the alarm to clear the area. If the correct extinguisher is available and you are certain the fire can be contained, do so. If you have any doubts, evacuate the area. Property loss is preferable to injury or worse, the loss of a workmate. Drug and alcohol policy. Geographe Civil has a zero tolerance to alcohol and illicit drugs in the workplace. Any person caught under the influence of these at work will be subject to disciplinary action as per our S132 Fitness for Work procedure. Many of our sites require drug screening as a prerequisite to entry, and you may be requested to undergo a random alcohol or drug test at short notice. You must advise your supervisor or HSEQ management before commencing work with Geographe Civil if you are taking prescribed medication that may affect your performance, as you may be subject to a random drug and alcohol test for cause or post-incident on site. Housekeeping and office safety. Statistics provided by WorkSafe indicate that around 1/3 of all accidents are caused by slipping, tripping, falling, or spills as a result of poor housekeeping. Maintaining a clean and tidy work area also improves productivity and creates the right company image. Clean up your work area and replace tools and equipment as soon as you complete the task involved. Keep an eye on housekeeping across the entire site and encourage a culture of good housekeeping. Safety in the workplace includes everyone. Hazards in the office are just as likely to occur and cause injuries if not properly managed. Office hazards include, but are not limited to, poor filing systems, overstacked shelves, poorly designed workstation, cords or leads in walkways. To avoid unnecessary injury, good posture, regular stretching and movement, and workload planning are all safe work practices that will improve your physical and mental condition in the workplace. Keep an eye out for potential hazards and notify your supervisor or HSEQ manager if you believe conditions could be improved. First aid. We encourage staff members to become trained in first aid, and our guidelines are that all supervisors are qualified. If you wish to attend a course, discuss this with your supervisor. First aid kits are provided in all company vehicles, the HSEQ office and site offices. More comprehensive medical facilities are provided at many of our major sites. Take the time to understand where the nearest first aid kit is located. Ensure it is properly stocked by advising your supervisor or HSEQ management if an item is running low or if a new item would improve the kit. Ensure that you familiarise yourself with the first aid trained persons on your site. Personal protective equipment. PPE must be provided and used in accordance with work procedures and JSAs on all work sites. Employees must wear the correct PPE at all times as required by each site and client. The conditions of PPE must be checked each time it is worn to ensure it is fit for purpose and complies with the relevant Australian standards. You are responsible for the maintenance of your PPE. The type of PPE will vary based on the level of risk. Job-specific PPE includes ear protection, including earplugs or ear muffs. Consider personal hygiene when in use and dispose of carefully. Respiratory devices, including disposable masks, half or full masks. Hand protection, including chemical-resistant, cut-resistant or anti-vibration gloves. Sun protection, including hat, tinted eye protection, clothing and sunscreen. Hard hats, compliant to the Australian and New Zealand 1801 standards, will be worn whenever on a construction site where the hazard associated with dropped items or loads, work being conducted overhead or on the level above, or when the work risk assessment or client requires them to be worn. You have come to the end of the induction. Thank you for completing this. Please click on the link for the short Geographe Civil induction quiz and complete it. Thank you and enjoy your time here with us at Geographe Civil.